Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Lucian supplementary guide. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Magnetic Blaster on Lucian. So now pretty much the standard build on Lucian now is going for TRIFORCE second item. Of course, TRIFORCE has been going in and out of Lucian's build ever since it got like the 200 gold price reduction. It's kind of been just going in and out of Lucian's build. You know, some people like it, some people don't. I personally think that, you know, it's fine. Like, it has pros and cons. Like, it's not a crit item, so you don't really scale the crit, but at the same time, you get like the Spellblade passive, you get all the good stats. So I think, you know, it's good and bad in different ways. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the build. First up, we're starting with the Gluttonous Greaves as our boots, of course, for the Omni Vamp and the attack damage. Same goes for the Bloodthirster, physical vamp, attack damage, and extra stats when you're high on health. And of course, TRIFORCE for all of the good stats, the health, AD, attack speed, ability haste, as well as the Spellblade passive and the movement speed as well. And then you're going to go into Magnetic Blaster. So one of the biggest weaknesses of Lucian, especially in the mid to late game, is that he has really short range, so he has to heavily commit to a fight. So Magnetic Blaster kind of semi-solves the problem. It gives you a very long range auto that's going to do a decent amount of burst damage. You do, of course, get the bonus range as well as, you know, you do get things like attack speed, which you don't care too much about, but the bonus range is really where it's at. And, of course, we next have Moral Reminder for the Armor Pen as well as the Grievous Wounds. And, finally, as the last item, most people always go for GA. So here you'll notice a couple of things. First thing, number one, you don't reach 100% crit because you have only 3 crit items into a GA. Number two, there's no IE in the build. So, of course, if your GA is down or if you just want more damage, you can of course just go for, or actually don't even have it in the build, but you can go for IE as your last item instead of GA. Now for the runes, it's pretty standard. Lucian always wants to go like Kraken Slayer for, you know, the damage, especially in lane as well as later part of the game. Of course, you guys have seen my videos on first strike Lucian, which is also viable, but the more standard rune here is going to be the Kraken Slayer. Brutal, of course, because you auto attack quite a bit. Giant Slayer, because you get the most value in this with this rune. And we have Bloodline for the extra Omni Vamp as well as Bone Plating for the defensive capabilities. And for the summoner spells, pretty straightforward. It's just going to be Flash together with Exhaust. But with all that said, let's go straight into our gameplay.
Welcome to Wild Rift.
Okay, so now we're hopping into our gameplay. We have the standard Lucian Nami duo in the bot lane. Of course, Nami, one of the best supports for Lucian. Other than Nami, it's basically only the engagers. Lucian doesn't really want enchanters like Lulu or Yumi. He'd much rather have like an engager or Nami, because Nami gives him insane buffs with her E and such. So here, straight away, right into a level 1 fight. Here you can see I get off the auto into Q double auto for the Kraken Slayer proc onto the Caitlyn. Unfortunately, she did have her Bone Plating up, so most of the damage there was actually from the Kraken Slayer and not from our auto attacks because of the Bone Plating. Lux does not have Bone Plating in the meanwhile, so she takes a chunk of damage and also blows Splash. So already a pretty good start to the lane, just considering how we already chunked out Lux and also got her Flash. So, you know, in the early game, Lucian is very strong, but we are playing against a Caitlyn Lux lane, a very, very scary lane, because if you get hit by the Lux root, you're going to get full comboed. Of course, not at level 1, but in the later levels. Levels 2 and 3 can already kind of get comboed, you know, by them. So speaking of which, Nami kind of falls into the trap. However, speaking of falling into a trap, Caitlyn falls into the Nami bubble, and now she has forced to blow Flash as well and grabs the fruit. Now Nami's taking a chunk of damage because she's gotten rooted twice in a row, but overall we still come out on top on the trade because we haven't taken the fruit, whereas they're both like below half HP and they've taken the fruit already. Nami can always go back and get the fruit, you know, when she needs to, which is actually honestly probably now. But yeah, we're kind of keeping up the pressure onto the enemy team. Nami also has sustain, so she's kind of healing herself up slowly but surely. And yeah, so we still have all of our summoner spells except Nami heal. They don't have very much. They only have Caitlyn go. So a kill feels imminent, you know, for our side, as long as we don't get caught by them. Speaking of getting caught, Nami is getting rooted. Huge bubble by Nami. Pretty much is going to be a kill onto Caitlyn. I exhaust her to make sure that she cannot get any kind of return kill onto Nami. But honestly, at this point, that was pretty unlikely to begin with. So maybe that was a little bit of a waste of the exhaust. But you know, you can never be too safe. So in this case, we ensure that Nami survives and we pick up a kill on the Caitlyn. Nice early kill into the pocket. really helpful to, of course, start that snowball rolling. So we have, of course, our boot together with a longsword. Of course, you can see based off of the scoreboard, Caitlyn also has boots. So based off of the kill, our main advantage is that extra longsword, extra 12 AD, which can, of course, come in handy in a fight. So here Lux tries to go for control ward. I run straight into the root, but Caitlyn's not really following up, so I end up doing a huge chunk of damage to the Lux. I believe Lux has nullifying orb, which is proc, because I swear I saw the nullifying orb. And here we, of course, still have our fruit, which we haven't yet consumed throughout the whole match. So this allows us to pick up the fruit, stay very, very healthy, and stay in the lane. We also got a beautiful wave position here where we've basically frozen the wave outside of our tower. And with the Caitlyn still not having flash, she's a little bit vulnerable if she wants to step up to get minions. Here I'm dashing forward to get a trade, but of course I do take a little bit of minion aggro there. Minions are still really strong when you're at such a low level. So here you can see we're just maintaining the freeze, making sure to kind of maintain 2 minions from the previous wave and just matching autos of the Caitlyn whenever she attacks minions. And in this way we can kind of keep the freeze. Of course Lux could easily break the freeze if she just throws a E, or Caitlyn here, she throws a Q and breaks the freeze at last. So here we're just going to reset the wave to the middle by clearing the wave under tower. And just dodging all of the pot shots launched by Lux here. Now we know that their flashes are coming back up. I can see in the replay too that they've already actually come back up, but in the game itself, if you don't time it exactly, you know roughly that this is about when their flashes come up. So you know that they now have their summoner spell, so you can't really take advantage of that anymore. Speaking of taking advantage here, Nami hits a huge wave and I hit a huge culling to get the kill onto the Lux. Caitlyn nearly dies, lives on 1 HP and has to pop the fruit to survive. And with the Lux shoved out of the lane, she actually, both of them once again flashed there, but the key, point here is that I actually picked up the kill onto the Lux even though she flashed. I just continued following her in the culling and I didn't flash myself, and I eventually actually got the kill onto her. So we are, definitely moving in the right direction. We are getting, decently fed 2-0 now in the lane, and nearly a 1k difference between Caitlyn and I. At this point, so we're in really, really good shape. Of course, Nami also has a 500 gold lead over the Lux, who hasn't been, doing very much. Here she is again. I'm just going to run her down right here, flashing on top of her head. I know I can get the kill onto her. We finish the kill onto the Lux, get a killing spree, trading our flash for a kill. Definitely worth it. And we remove Lux from the equation, and now Caitlyn is left alone in the lane. The objectives are spawning. It is a Gwen jungle, so she doesn't have the strongest ganks, especially when Lux is not here for the setup. We're not too scared of her because, as you can see here, all she can do is really just run into the lane, and we can simply just run away. Caitlyn's getting focused down by her, so Nami's getting focused down by her. So here, I exhaust her, and I'm just trying to focus her down. We actually nearly get the kill, but Lilia comes in and actually picks up the kill herself. Gets the sleep onto the Caitlyn. Caitlyn is at half HP. I'm pretty low myself, so I don't really want to, overcommit to a fight that, I could die from. Lilia is still continuing the fight. She has a phase rush that she's proccing a couple of times. I back from my Bloodthirster, and I can hit back out to the dragon. Garen actually rotates to the dragon as well, which now leaves top lane, with a lot of minions dying under tower. Here the Senna top lane from the enemy team also rotates to the dragon. It's a huge fight at dragon. I'm trying to bide my time and wait for an opportunity. I see a number of spells being used. I dash in, trying to one-shot the Caitlyn. I've switched my focus to the Gwen, who's of course the jungler. We do get the Gwen, and we're now trying to exit the pit. Nami is really low and kind of stuck in the pit. Lilia gets the dragon, gets out with the flash, and now Yasuo is the last man to have to get out. He does get out, and I actually tried to follow up from the Nami bubble there, but unfortunately I lost vision and I'm just dashing and not being able to auto attack. So now I'm in a little bit of trouble, kind of stuck under the tower. Have to dodge a little bit of the skill shots. Of course, Lux Q is pretty predictable, so we do dodge that, and I can see the wave is coming in. So here is like really where I'm about to get dive. My team is on the way though, so I just need to hang on while they make their way here, and they are actually here right now. So I can bait the dive if I want to, but instead I'm just going to use my ulti to clear out the minions and proc Caitlyn's bone plating as well. Yasuo and Garen come in, but unfortunately they can't really do very much. They're full melee and they can't really do very much here. And Caitlyn actually gets a good number of auto attacks onto the Garen, who of course is incredibly tanky, so it's not going to take too much damage, but I would say pretty well played by the Caitlyn there. Here, she has no mana at all, so here I'm just trying to get a little bit of chip damage onto her and get the tower plates as well. First tower is secured mid by my team, and in the meantime, I'm just whacking the tower to get plates. Of course, we don't really know where the Lux is. There she is. But yeah, so Caitlyn definitely wants to back for the mana. She has actually back right now, so now it's only Lux in the lane. Same story. With only the Lux in the lane, you can try to harass her, but she knows what's up, so she's actually backing away. We tank a tower shot, but with Nami and Bloodthirster, we are back to full health. Barely dodging the Lux route there. Without platings, the tower is a lot squishier, so we are trying to focus on the tower. Tower is really low, but minions do end up dying, so we can't really finish off the tower. Back up just a little bit, ensure we don't get caught by the Caitlyn Lux combo. Of course, they both have no kills, but they probably still can one combo us to death. Like, not probably, but definitely. Like, if Lux hits a root into E, into ult, into like a Caitlyn, you know, trap, you know, into like a Q into like triple headshot, I'm definitely dead. There's no way I'm surviving that no matter how fat I am. So, yeah. Still have to respect the fact that we can get comboed by them, so we can't play overly aggressive or anything like that. We can see Vex on Vision, and she's kind of waiting in the wings, you know, perhaps to launch an ulti at us. So we want to make sure we're not putting ourselves in an aggressive position that, you know, she can ulti us easily. We're staying on the tower here to dissuade her from going in. Now she's actually gone, so we can actually now just engage. Unfortunately, Nami does die. I'm going to flash forward to finish off the kill. I exhaust the Lux to slow her down and to try to hit the culling. She does a really weird ghost, and she walks away and then back into the culling, and she nearly kills herself. Like, one more shot from the culling would have done the job, but unfortunately she does escape on 1 HP. Either way, we do get the kill onto the Caitlyn, so we at least do get something there. Not the worst situation in the world. We're actually 5-0-1 with the Triforce completed now, and of course with the Triforce, major spike here. When we cast our abilities, our double auto is going to do a lot more damage because it's going to proc the Spellblade passive. And here we're just going to farm the Krugs on the way back to lane. The wave is pushing in, and we are going to be here to collect this this relatively big wave. And now the enemy bot lane has actually rotated mid, so we're going to make our way there immediately. We're on like a flank from the river. I don't think they have vision here because we're just waiting in the bush and they're not reacting. Caitlyn wave comes in beautiful onto the Vex, and then the bubble onto the Lux, easily allowing me to finish both of them. Now the Gwen is on my tail, but she over chases and ends up dying. Here I don't really have the health to really duel Caitlyn, so I'm just gonna have to you know, get the movement speed from my W and then just back off a little bit. Garen is now on the chase. I'm just following him just in case he can actually catch up. He doesn't actually catch up and just ends up getting kited out. So we are just gonna go for the minions. I say that, but Caitlyn ends up walking up. So here I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm not gonna have to, but I do end up going for the kill onto the Caitlyn instead. And we do actually get her with the full combo into the ulti, the max damage Lucian combo right there. And we barely survive on 1 HP. The only reason why we could really go for that fight is because Caitlyn isn't really very fed, and if she was, she definitely would have just killed me right there. But because of how much of the goal gap is between me and her, I could take like a fight where I was like starting off at half HP, and that's really the only reason why I won. I go legendary, dragon spawns, we have a 3k goal lead against the Caitlyn. We're just gonna run straight there, and haven't really seen the power of the magnetic blaster yet. We're about to get to that. Here you can see Gwen's doing the dragon by herself for some reason. Gets CC'd by Nami. I'm going into the Shroud to finish her off, and dragon is gonna be ours. Now Caitlyn is, you know, stuck high and dry. We finish her off real quick. Now we're kind of chasing the Lux. I dash over the wall, but Lux has run all the way away already, so we're just gonna go for the wave instead. We know Vex is still in the area, but she doesn't have ult. Senna's also in the area. I get terrified. Thankfully, I managed to dash away before the Lux hits. If not, I think I actually would be in trouble. I hit the culling, and does a lot of damage. I flash in, nearly get the kill onto the Vex, but Vex survives on 1 HP. So does Senna. Really kind of unfortunate situation here where they all survive on 1 HP. Not very ideal at all. Could have been like a double kill there at least, but unfortunately it was not to be. Now Gwen back in the jungle, but running down the Garen, but unfortunately she gets caught by Nami. Chain CC by Nami. Nami nearly dies just to her snips. She does have one item now, which is the Riftmaker. Shouldn't be doing that much damage though. Nami is pretty squishy. So here on our way out, we're going to steal the enemy blue buff, which is also going to give us the mana, which we are, you can see we're kind of running out of mana real quick. Red buff share is also up, so we're going to grab that as well. And now we double buffs working for us, and we're going to go back, get the magnetic blaster, and now we're ready to go ahead and have some long range autos. So taking stock of the game at the moment, we're of course giga fed. We're like 12k gold. Next highest gold in the game is Lilia, with not even 9k gold. So we have 3k gold ahead of anybody else in the game compared to their most pet member. Caitlyn, we're like 4k gold up. So we're super duper fed, and we are so fed that we actually invested an extra 1000 gold into getting a stasis, just in case we get caught by like a Lux Binding, a Caitlyn trap, you know, a Vex ulti, anything like that. We really don't want to die and give away a 1k shutdown, so we want to invest into the early Zhonya's, you know, to ensure that we don't die. Now here we're basically just farming the whole jungle at this point, maintaining our farm. I mean, the way we get so fed is we farm minions, we farm monsters, we farm kills, we get everything that we can. So here, speaking of getting everything that we can, we're just gonna do Baron. We can see Vex and Caitlyn on the wrong side of the map. Those are two of their key carries at the wrong side of the map. And we can also see Senna and Lux in the mid lane. So we know that the only person who could be here is actually the Gwen. And Gwen doesn't even show up. So we actually get the entire Baron just for free because the enemy team is not paying attention. Now with the Baron, you know, we can easily just start getting a push going. Now I was going to back initially, but I realized that Yasuo and Lilia are not backing. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to actually just Baron up the wave mid to ensure that the enemy team, you know, is pressured in the mid lane, which is then going to allow Lux and Lilia to do something in the top lane. So here you can see we basically instantly clear the wave, which forces the enemy team to stay mid, or they might lose something. So here you can see they now choose to rotate top. So here we can either follow the rotation, which is what we do, or secure the tower. So here, because we're so fed, we know that we can win a fight, so we're going to go for the rotation. You can see Garen gets a double. I'm going in with the culling, killing the minion wave as well as onto the enemies. Lux goes down as well. Everybody on the enemy team dies. And here we have a mid wave which we you know, pushed in just now, of course, because we cleared the wave before we rotated. And this is going to give us 2 minions to get the mid tower, and we can also just end the game using the top wave if we really wanted to. Just get an extra tower for the stats, I guess. And Lux is the only person left to defend here. We're just going to destroy the Nexus shield and just straight up end the game. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.
Victory!